Very serious warning, guys. This podcast episode contains spoilers for the Avengers End Games. Please click away now if you do not want to be spoiled. May I suggest you go and listen to our Captain Marvel episode, because that episode contains all the people that are talking within this episode. Again, this contains spoilers. You've been warned.
Can I open the show singing Baby Shark?
Why not? Here we go.
Tony Stark, do 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 do. Tony Stark,
Oh,
do
no.
do do do. Tony Stark, do 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 do. Tony Stark. He is Tony do 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 do. He is Tony do 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 do. He is Tony do 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 do. He is Tony. Did we did announce spoilers, right?
I will announce before this part even hits. So hey, welcome to Geeky Girls Night In. I am your host, Leslie, and today I have with me most of the dream team. I have Emily.
Hello.
I have Kim.
Hi.
And of course I have Quinzel.
Hi, I'm Quinzel. You're watching Spoilers.
There you go. Mecca couldn't make it tonight, and she's here with us in spirit. So first of all, we're going to start out with what you're drinking. I myself, I needed some soothing after this movie. So I am drinking lemon ginger herbal tea by Stash. And I don't have a fancy cup or anything tonight. It's just the first thing I could grab out the cupboard because I had to run downstairs. Quinzel, what about you?
Made myself a little drink. I'm calling it Stark Berry Lemonade.
Oh my God.
It's strawberry lemonade with lemon vodka.
That sounds good.
I've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And 99 of my problems are in game. So this does not taste like alcohol, and I'm kind of worried. So we'll see how this show goes.
Yes. Kim, what you got for us?
Today I'm gonna not be doing the alcohol, but I am drinking just regular Coca-Cola Classic. For I will be saving the alcoholic drinking for after Game of Thrones today, because I'm sure that's when I'm gonna need it.
Oh my God, yes. Unfortunately, I do not have HBO, nor does Quinzel, so we won't see it, and I don't mind spoilers on that, so I'll read what happened tomorrow. Emily, what about you?
I am drinking a hard cider out of a Green Dragon Inn mug from Lord of the Rings, and the back of it says "The only brew for the brave and true," because I am pre-gaming for Game of Thrones.
Awesome.
So half of us are going to be, well, all of us are devastated right now, but half of us are going to be even more devastated later.
Yeah, tomorrow is like, I literally ordered groceries today. Adam's like, "What's with this order?" I'm like, "I got some Doritos, I got some cake mix, I got some frosting, I got some donuts. I'm gonna gain 5 pounds, maybe have a heart attack, but hey, I gotta make sure I'm hydrated because all the tears."
You know, feelings through eating. That is what I am here for. So, let's talk first. In case you didn't know by the emergency sounds you heard before this episode started, if you didn't know by the title, we're talking all about Endgame. There will be spoilers. And like I said in the beginning, you want to turn off now if you don't want to hear spoilers. Go back and check our Captain Marvel episode. That'd be more your speed until you get caught up. So Emily and I went together, and I fought horrendous traffic and was going to have a heart attack because I thought I was going to be late. And but I made it there. We had a delicious burger, and then we headed over to the theater in Noblesville, which I had never been to. And we got settled. Where did you guys go see it? I know Mecca said something about renting out something.
So we went to see it at one of the, because all of our movie theaters are damn near in a casino. Like there's maybe 3 that aren't. But we went to the casino. Nice. Where her mother is well known and has a lot of perks, and her mother actually got us the box seats for the theater, which apparently they tried to take away on Thursday, and her mama fought for that because I was like, I love her mama. I love her so much. So yeah, we basically, like, I don't know if you've ever been into a box seat in a theater, but if you've ever seen like the glass paneling in the back of some theaters, there's usually boxes behind there. So they usually seat about 8 people, and they have either, depending on how wide it is, they'll have either 2 boxes or 3 boxes back there.
That is so cool. And Quinzel was a little bit more privileged than the rest of us. And why don't you tell them how you saw it and when you saw it?
So I actually saw Endgame on Tuesday at 1:00 in the afternoon my time. And that caused me to have a very lonely existence. This was actually an all media screening. So it was just all media people, the local news station. So it was actually kind of funny because I'm, seeing the executive director of the news station, and he's asking me like, are you going to talk during the movie? Because I don't want to hear any talking during the movie. It's like,
oh, sir.
I didn't realize you were a fan. I mean, you're executive director. And he's like, I take this seriously. Don't mess with me. I'm like, okay. I show up in an Avengers dress, of course. So I look more like a fan than anything. I have to kind of like explain my role of being here. But it was nice. So it was an all media screening in the middle of the afternoon. And even the concessions people were like, I'm really scared that you guys are going to come out and talk about it. Can you please tell everybody not to say anything when they come out because we can hear them. And so I run back in the theater and I say, hey, everybody, excuse me. They don't want spoilers out there in the concession. So they actually take our statement at the end of the movie, like a little quote or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so we have to do our quote like over there, like make sure that they don't hear it. And everybody goes, okay.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was super awesome.
All right, so I don't even know where to begin this.
Tony Stark.
Okay, we're not gonna start there. We're not gonna do it. So
was I holding on to you at that point? I'm trying to remember exactly at what point I grabbed onto you and refused to let go.
I was flailing the whole time, and you kept cackling at me because like random shit would just drop out of my mouth. We can start with Captain America's ass if you like. That was amazing.
America's ass.
When I just fell out, I was like, what? What is wrong with Scott Lang?
Scott Lang is all of us.
Oh,
he actually is. I would agree with that.
I saw, I don't know if it was on the set of memes I sent you guys earlier, but there was a hand, and the hand was Captain America's ass, and holding on to the hand was Scott Lang and Tony Stark and somebody else, and I was just like, oh my god. First of all, the whole thing that threw me was the fact that the whole story actually takes place 5 years later.
Yes,
I thought that they were gonna fight and it was gonna be an immediate thing and this, that, and the other, but I knew it couldn't be immediate because the movie's 3 hours long. Y'all gonna fight Thanos for 3 damn hours? So
yeah, and Tony didn't look so hot in the beginning, so
no, he looked malnourished.
I have a big question about that.
Go for it.
Because at the end of Captain Marvel, when we got that end credit scene, she pops up after the pager goes off and she's face to face with Natasha.
Yes.
Does she then say, okay, peace out, I'm gonna go get this spaceship, and that's when she comes back with Nebula and Tony? What are we looking at in terms of, does she show up with the rocket ship and then there's the pager? No. I don't know how to quite...
I don't think so. I think she showed up with the pager, right? And was like, yo, who called? And found out basically what was going on. And then I can't remember, did anybody on Earth know where the hell Tony and Spidey went?
They knew they were on the spaceship, but that was the last anyone knew, was when that ship left New York.
Okay.
at least Tony was on it. I don't know if anyone knew that Peter was also riding shotgun.
Okay. Yeah, no, because Peter was hidden. I remember that. Okay. So I'm thinking they were like, okay, we have a couple people that may be out in space. Can you go take a look? We would really appreciate it. And maybe that's how that came about. That's my guess. Do you guys have anything?
I don't even think that they asked. Like, I feel like they were like briefing her on what was going on, and she was like, oh, okay, well, so I'm gonna go look over here, you know, because there's some people here, so we gotta find somebody, so I'm just gonna look over here. And Black Widow was like, okay, I mean, I didn't ask for all that, but I mean, if you want to. I don't know, I just kind of feel like she just maybe did it, and they maybe, because I don't know if they established trust with her that easy to like,
okay,
yeah, like go do the thing.
That's one of my big questions after I've seen it twice. How many times has everybody else seen it?
Twice.
Girl, I've been at a birthday party from hell. I've seen it one time.
My kid is saying I've seen it once.
Okay.
So my thoughts are, I would like to think that they did tell her they could potentially have a couple people in space, because I find it really more disbelieving that she just randomly came upon the ship in the mass and vast of space. Like, that didn't happen. However, we do have Rocket, who's still on Earth.
Okay.
And if anybody could figure out if there was, because I mean, they weren't completely out of power, there was some kind of signal, he might have been able to track the ship at some
point. The ship
point.
is called the Milano, right?
No, this one's the Benatar.
The Benatar, okay.
I don't know when that changed, but it did change. I remember that at some point. But that's my thought, is that at least Rocket pointed her in the right direction quickly, probably because he could realize that the ship couldn't make it very long. There's a lot of guessing in there, but I agree that we don't really know that whole story. Maybe they cut it out of some scenes or something like that. But it's kind of weird that you do an end thing like that and then immediately jump to that.
I guess it was kind of a good thing, the way he was looking. So, yeah.
I want to give all the kudos to Robert Downey Jr. for his portrayal of Tony Stark, both in this film specifically and as Tony throughout the entire 11 previous years of the MCU.
He has had like the biggest, like, I don't want to call it a redemption arc, because, well, it kind of was, because he was a trash ass in that first Iron Man movie. He was a dick until, you know, he got captured and saw what his weapons were doing to people. But his acting just, like, I don't even know, man. It, like, who would have thought I'd have sniffled over Tony Stark? He was just like the sarcastic ass, you know?
I totally agree with you. Like, Tony Stark is my least favorite character. And if you had told me, if somebody had really spoiled it for me and told me that you were going to cry at the end of Endgame and it's going to be because of Tony, I would have been like, you are a lying asshole. Just like Tony, you are a lying asshole. And for a character that I really just don't care for as much. Like, I just felt like every time that he was talking about the registry, the superhero registry too, in the other movies, I was just like, ugh, I'm so sick of Tony. Like, do you not know? Like, like history repeating itself. How do you not know this? But yeah, just how do you act something so well and so believable on those levels? And even as a dad, he was believable.
All right.
Like, yeah, I could see Tony Stark being a dad like that, like being exactly like that. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
The little girl who was playing Morgan was amazing as well.
She was so cute.
How old is she supposed to be?
5.
5.
Well, yeah, 5 years later. I just thought about that.
Somewhere between 4 and 5, depending on when Pepper got pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe 4, because like then she would have had to be in school, right?
It's like, who's gonna teach her? Like, they're out
I mean,
in
like,
the woods.
Yeah, but won't they? Well, I guess half the people are gone, so I guess ain't nobody checking in and be like, you have a whole child who's not enrolled in school.
And
like,
her daddy is a literal genius. So.
Yeah, okay, well.
Apparently baseball's not a thing. Like, apparently, like, organized sports just went to hell in a handbasket. Like, at least, like, Like, give me my pacers or give me something. Like, if I'm not dust, I need something to occupy my leisure time when I'm not crying.
Let's get a T-ball game going.
Right. Come on now. We have half an Avenger.
Audie seemed to be doing pretty good.
Oh my God. I told my husband, I told Jeff, I was like, this entire movie was sponsored by Audi.
Yeah.
You can't tell me any different.
Oh,
They were like, absolutely, we are doing great.
Audie was like, who's Thanos?
Thanos who?
You can outrun Thanos in the new Audi 8 series.
Oh my God.
Snaps to Thanos for helping us out.
Oh, boo.
Snapping out half the competition.
So, did you guys really think that Thanos got rid of the stones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. He's that arrogant.
Yes.
He literally, because he didn't want it, and it wasn't even because he thought those stones were dangerous. It's literally because he did not want anybody coming back and fixing what he just did. Purely because of that.
And then this is another question that I had. When Thanos did the initial snap, as far as we knew, it didn't damage him.
Right.
So how did it damage him the second time? How did it damage the Hulk?
Well, when he was, every time Thanos got a stone in Infinity War and he put it into the gauntlet, we saw a surge of power.
Yes.
And he would grimace and whatnot. When he snapped, the gauntlet started smoking and it was deformed.
Okay.
And then when we see him in the garden, whatever planet Nebula coined the garden, and we see him with all the burn marks that go down, that was the second time he used the gauntlet.
Gotcha. Also, completely off topic, but I want to bang Professor Hulk. Wow, that's just...
Okay, so Leslie is Team Sexy Hulk. I mean, that is a very important thing to know.
He was fucking fine. I don't even know.
Leslie, no, we already have enough weird questions as it is.
I don't even care.
Okay, quick poll. Who is Team Sexy Hulk?
I mean, hands up.
And like, you don't have to be ashamed because that asshole has to like order a bowl of scrambled eggs at breakfast to feed him. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take a little bit from your plate and like eat half his stuff, and it's okay because as far as the waitress knows, that's all Hulk. So
I will clock in as Team Lebowski Thor.
oh my God, Lebowski Thor
Yeah,
is hilarious.
I'm with you on that one. Didn't bother me at all. I was like,
I really was just unbelievably impressed with the actual acting in this film. How deeply I felt for these characters. I loved them before. I just felt so devastated at so many points, and then so equally joyful. I don't know how any of your guys' screenings went, but the one that Leslie and I were in, it has been the biggest audience reaction movie screening that I've ever been in.
Yes.
People were screaming, people were clapping. Like the woman next to me, my friend Gina was on my other side, and then we call her Chicken Wing Woman was on Gina's other side, and she's not like a Propane Girl. But Propane Girl was just like openly weeping.
Oh no! I didn't see that.
Oh no, yeah, I will explain. Wing Girl. She's like, she literally smelled like she had just like lit a charcoal grill like all up before she walked in the theater. I don't know if it was cigarettes. I don't know if it was the chicken wings and barbecue sauce she was eating. I don't know, but she hated Gina. Apparently, like Gina was upset and crying, and this woman kept like giving her the side eye. And by like the end, this woman was like openly weeping, and it was like greasy and.
Oh God!
Oh God, greasy tears. God.
Maybe I'm glad I missed all that.
Yeah, you were on the other side of me.
The only thing,
and then Gina, and then barbecuing.
the only problem I had was like the asshole that kept walking through and like banging my seat and sending me flying. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm so sorry. And
He was very apologetic though for you in the back of the skull repeatedly.
Yeah, like 3 times I think. I'm like, how do you have to pee so much, sir?
The man did not bladder train, and
No.
you had to go in with a certain
Yes, mindset.
bladder dexterity.
And so, like, one of the problems for me, talking about the whole peeing situation, is that Like, my body doesn't cue me to pee until it's an emergency. And so I'm running. But I was smart. Like, even before the previews, I went to the bathroom. I drank half a large Pepsi and was perfectly fine until I got home. And it took me an hour to get home because somebody crashed their minivan on 465. So I thought I did pretty good.
I mean, the press screening is totally different because, I mean, even though everybody there was a fan, you don't get the same, like, reactions as everybody else. So, literally, when T'Challa and Shuri and them came back out that portal, I was the only one going, Mbappe! Mbappe! And they were looking at me like, are you serious right now? Are you chanting with the movie? And I'm like, yes, I am tired of being quiet. I've been quiet for like 2.5 hours. Leave me alone. And it was tough. It was tough.
How long has Sam Wilson been sitting there stewing on your left? Like, he's sitting there, like, they all got their earpieces in, they're all waiting for their, Sorcerer Supreme to open the portal, and he's like, you know what I'm gonna say, T'Challa? You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna tell him I'm gonna be on his left, and then we're gonna come through the portal, and it's gonna be great.
And T'Challa's like, I feel like they're having that conversation beforehand. T'Challa's like, okay. I'm gonna say, okay. I don't get it, but okay.
I got you. It's fine. We're good. We're fine. It's fine. We're good.
As Bucky just stares
longingly at Sam.
Well, no, judgingly at Sam while he's having the conversation.
Oh my god.
Oh, no love story in this one either.
Well, there kind of was.
I guess
Clint Tasha?
Well, no, not them. I was talking about Cap and is it Peggy?
Yeah, that was nice.
That's right. That's another meme I saw because like it was talking about Captain America's ass, and somebody was like, "Well, we call her Peggy." I was like, "Oh my!"
Well, that's what that smile was. I think over his shoulder, like he's gonna be getting it now.
Oh my god!
Right? I've seen a lot of memes. A lot. It was.
I need to go through the meme treasure. I hadn't yet because I was like, if I go down this road, I'm gonna accidentally say something, and my friends are gonna murder me. And like, I literally could not go pick up my child from a friend. Like, she was like, I'm gonna sit in my room, and your kid is gonna be ready. Because I want him to come over. I want to see him, but I don't want to look at you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to know. I'm seeing it Thursday, so he can still come over. I just can't see you. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
He's just sitting down on the porch waiting for you with a note pinned to his chest.
For real.
Like, here's your baby. I don't know what you want from me. No, but yeah, let's talk about Natasha and Clint a little bit. That opening scene wrecked me.
Yes.
I knew it was coming. When I saw the arrow and the girl, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is how we're doing this?
Yeah.
Well, I knew she was gonna go, but I didn't think all of them would.
Yes.
I kind of guessed that just because I know the Ronin character in the comics, and I knew he turned into the Ronin character, and I'm like, he would have never went off that deep end if somebody was still surviving, in my opinion.
If he had somebody to like hold him back and be like, you know what, I'm still here. You need to we need to focus on us right now. Yeah. So that makes sense. But it like when he was like, I don't think I want to find him, and I'm like,
Brody,
no.
Yeah,
it was a bummer.
I love Clint and Natasha's relationship. I really didn't love that it was Natasha. I both loved and hate that it was Natasha that made that sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And they were essentially like fighting over it. Like, I'm going to blow you off the side of this mountain, but not really.
Right.
I feel bad that it was the only one of the 6 that was a woman who made that sacrifice. I didn't love that. Mm-hmm. I didn't love how Carol got sidelined for 85% of the movie.
Yeah, you almost didn't even need to watch Captain Marvel to...
Yes.
I mean, you'd be like, oh, who's this chick? Oh, it's Captain Marvel. Okay, like, she didn't have enough storyline.
Yeah,
Almost.
I think the only reason you needed to watch it though is to understand what power level she was at, because
Yeah.
you wouldn't have understand why she was. I don't even want to call her cocky, but if you didn't know that, you would think that she was incredibly cocky in that.
Yeah.
And then you would have been like, why? When she came in and she was like, "Fuck your ship," and
Right.
Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me? I did enjoy that quite a
was
bit.
Yeah.
so cute. She's like, "Hi, Peter Parker," and I'm like, now he's gonna have a crush on her.
The female assemble, I really love.
that was the shit.
That was
loved it.
such a good way to do it too, because it's like other movies that kind of throw in that female trope of like, this is what we have to do because that's what they want us to do. And I feel like they did it in such a subtle but powerful way. Do you guys feel like that?
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel it was a nod to Natasha too, because that happened in Infinity War. She was the one that said she's not alone.
Yeah. Oh, that's very true.
That's true.
I wish that at some point in my life on the mortal plane, I have just an ounce of the chutzpah of Okoye to like show up to an alien eternal damnation fight with a spear. Like she just walked on up out of that portal. Black Panther had his suit, Shuri had her Panther gauntlets, and Okoye had the spear, and that was all she needed to just.
That's all she ever needed.
That's all.
Yes,
So amazing.
I love Danae in that role.
Oh, she's amazing. Did you see when I posted on our Facebook page her in the pink dress?
She looks incredible.
Oh, she was amazing.
All of the Dora Milaje, they. I just want to. So I've talked multiple times on this podcast about how I want to be Melina from Mortal Kombat, teeth and all on the side of my face.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I also want to be one of the Dora Milaje for Christmas. Wow, yes, for Christmas. I should show up to Christmas dinner
at your house. Like we're gonna do that. We're gonna have a geek assemble Christmas party, and you can come dressed.
You know what? I've been talking for the past few years about having like an open house, because that way nobody feels like obligated to stay. You could drop in, drink some hot chocolate, eat something, say hi, and bounce if you want to. I could do that.
Yes,
I can seriously do that. And you could dress up it'll be like a geek one, and like I'll show up dressed less than my neighbors already think I'm crazy. This is just the nail in the coffin. It's perfect. I'm gonna work on that.
Can I show up in my Cards Against Humanity cosplay?
Yes, you can.
Okay, all right.
We'll do a whole photo shoot out in the snow and everything. It'll be fine.
Yes,
and
please.
it's Indiana, so it's either going to be 27 feet of snow or it's going to be 60 and sunny.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll
way.
play our cards with me traveling up there if it's a snowstorm or if it's perfectly sunny.
We will see. We will do it. So, but yeah, I love the Dora Milaje, and I loved the scenes with the portal. So, like, here's the thing.
So powerful.
Yes, with Doctor Strange, I tend to forget that it's not just him and the other guy. By the way, did you know they're both named Benedict in real life? They found the only two Benedicts on Earth and put them together in a movie.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, but like I always forget it's not just them. And I've seen Doctor Strange, and I know there's other people. So when those portals started opening, I was like, who the hell are these people? Oh, that's right. There's more than one. There's more than those two. It's just entirely focused on him. And it was kind of cool to see. I don't know her name. Tilda Swanson's. Yeah.
The Ancient One. I love the Ancient One. I've watched parts of Doctor Strange numerous times, especially that opening fight. But the speech that she gives when they're on the hospital balcony about peering into the futures and saying, that Stephen was what he was meant to become, and then kind of calling that back to her conversation with Bruce, and Strange is meant to be the best of us, and just realizing that, I do have to give this up in order to save us. And when Stephen holds up that one finger and Tony kind of gets it, it's just like,
It was so good.
Do you want your mind blown a little though?
Yes. I mean, no, but yes.
when it comes to Stephen Strange and his world and the people that render magic, not a lot of people caught this. And we're going to go out of Endgame here, but did you watch the ending credit scene for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the one where Sylvester Stallone had the group of people, which is quote-unquote a nod to the original Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics, but the one alien-looking, he's like a cross between a fish and a dragon or something, right? Okay. And he had the hands. He did like the thumbs up sign with his hands.
Okay.
Actually doing the same magic that Stephen Strange.
They were using drawing, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that looks like a skinny Voldemort.
Kind of. But if you go back and watch it, like, he does like a thumbs up sign because he doesn't talk. But what he's doing to make the thumbs up sign, when you see around his wrists and everything, it's the same magic that Stephen Strange uses. So the magic's more than just our planet and our world. So
interesting.
Kim, I can't take this.
I love just randomly like learning all this magnificent stuff from Kim.
I really do too. Oh my gosh.
She's the greatest.
It brings such a depth to the material that otherwise I don't have. I have surface level knowledge of a lot of the universe, but she has deep dive knowledge, and I love it so much. So thank you, Kim, for being
I appreciate that because I'm a little obsessive, and most people I don't get to talk to about this kind of thing without them going, "You have a problem." But
well, we always know you're obsessive. I've seen your movie collection.
Yes,
so.
I have a bit, just teensy,
just a tiny bit. It's fine. It's fine. She could quit anytime she wanted to. It's good. So let's see, what else we got to talk about?
Do we want to talk about Thor?
Okay, before we get into Thor, we got to talk a little bit about the fat suit. I belong to a lot of fat positive groups on Facebook because I'm fat, and I'm always trying to be positive. I'm trying to work towards that, and they are pissed about the fat suit. Now, here's my take on it. There were some mild fat jokes, yes, but it wasn't that he was fat to me. It was just like a beer belly. So, like, I'm not saying that it's fat negative, but I don't know.
For me, as a fellow fat person, I didn't view it as negative. I viewed it as a very real side effect of depression.
Right.
That to me, I eat and I drink my feelings and I play video games when I'm having a down time. And Thor is having perhaps the worst time because Thor, as Thor is wont to do, got arrogant and assumed that he could swoop in and stop Thanos. And like he said in the HUD, this time I went for the head.
Yeah.
And so much of building Thor back up is regaining his confidence. That moment he had with Renee Russo as Frigga.
That broke my heart.
Yes, I really loved the attention to detail that we get with these time heist flashbacks. How much they still very much could have just been literally dropped into the Battle of New York in 2012. I was dying at the War Machine Nebula when they were doing the intro for Guardians and Quill is singing and then it pulls back and Quill is just singing to himself all off key. That was great to me, because I remember how much I loved the opening of that film. Like, oh my god, I love this character. And then it kind of, quote unquote, pulls the rug out and you're like, oh no, this is just some jerk in a cave. Sing.
But yeah.
So
Thor was I felt so bad for him. He put everything on his shoulders and it wasn't all his fault. I'm team Quill could have stayed dusted.
Yes.
# Quill could stay dusted. This is all his fault. But Thor chose to put all of that on his shoulders, and as a result, he was yelling at kids in Fortnite. So,
was that what they were playing? Was Fortnite? I'm not
Yes.
cool enough. Okay.
yes, that was Fortnite.
Okay.
So I'm gonna write a blog post about this because there's a lot to be said about Thor and even Nebula about how people handle trauma.
Yes.
More with Nebula about like how people always want to please their abusers and that kind of complex.
I mean, the amount of gaslighting that Nebula went through.
And manipulation. And so like kind of getting people to understand that concept through this.
Nebula's character growth was impressive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just great. But back to Thor, like I don't have an issue with the way that Marvel did it. I think the problem is that people associate weight gain with something being wrong.
Yes.
Whereas if you are like losing a lot of weight because you're depressed, then people are like, oh my gosh, you look so good. You've lost weight.
Absolutely.
And I can see why they didn't play it that way. So, I mean, like for kind of how he was handling his trauma, and I also like kind of how he's built and he was only drinking like beer. Like, didn't Valkyrie was like, yeah, he's drinking like a shit ton of beer and not
comes
leaving.
in once a month and he gets like 18 kegs.
Yeah, so I mean, it does make sense for what he was going through, but I can definitely see why people are upset about it. But just from somebody who has gotten very, very depressed, lost maybe 30 pounds in an ungodly amount of time, and people thinking, oh wow, you look great, and then me maybe gaining 5 pounds and people being like, hey buddy, you okay? You all right? I'm like, no, I'm happy now, so I want to eat a cheeseburger. So I think it's more about how people associated with it more than how Marvel displayed it. But I honestly, the way that they did trauma, and especially picking Thor for that, was marvelous the way they did it.
So I have thoughts too. Because the second viewing, I specifically, because I know there's very polarizing views when it comes to his character in this film. And I specifically paid attention to a lot of things that even like down to people making fun of him for being fat. And when it came down to it, really the only people that were making fat jokes to him was Rocket Raccoon, who is a dick in general.
Right.
He's always that asshole. So
Who also, in his own way, has a shit ton of trauma.
yes, but
Right.
and that's how he kind of, you know, and I am a fellow big girl, and this is my own personal experience. Like, so I'm not speaking on others because I can understand it being harsher for others versus
Right.
how I felt. But I am my worst critic. I'm the one that makes fun of myself worse than anybody else because I take that power away from other people. So there is an internal kind of thing. But one of the things that I appreciated was that Thor didn't really have a problem with people making fun of him being fat. He didn't give a shit. That's not what his problem was. And when it came down to him fighting, he was still a big guy and he was still kicking ass. So like it didn't really slow him down. He was just drinking all the time. And I was like, I felt like that was the most realist representation of the kind of, because it's not even just the Avengers trauma. That man has been through some shit for like since his second movie. He lost his brother, which he didn't
Several
lose his
times.
brother. Yeah. Then he lost his father. Then he found out he had a sister who was kind of an ass, and then he lost her too. You know,
Mhm.
and then
He lost his planet, and his mom had died, and Jane broke up with him, and
he was going through a lot with a very, very tiny. So something had to happen. Something had to break. And there's so many ways to break that all the other ways that he could have broke, like you said, him getting super skinny would never happen. And I mean, he's always known for his athletic build. You know, he was kind of the pretty boy of the group. So I kind of understand why they were stripping that from him, because that's not just what he is, you know?
And another thing that I want to point out is the fact that, you know, once he did become happy again, he didn't lose the weight. He was
Yes.
He was still chunky. So, I mean,
And he still didn't give a shit that Rocket was making fun of him. Like, it didn't even...
Not even a little bit. Nope.
him.
I feel like within
whatever,
like
Build-A-Bear.
yes, within like 10 seconds of Thor meeting Quill, he sized him up and was like, "Oh no, I control the crap out of this guy." And for Thor, who I love as a character, two great moments for me were in the time heist when he was able to summon Mjolnir, and he said, "I'm still worthy," and then in the final battle when Steve picked it up, and the look on Hemsworth's face when he said, "I knew it." And it was such, it wasn't like, because in Age of Ultron, like, he got a little shifty when Cap moved the hammer, but this was such unadulterated joy that Cap was worthy.
Yes. I've been wearing a spoiler on me the whole time because I can't tell anybody. So I have a Captain Marvel. I have a Captain America backpack. I posted it on our Instagram like a long time ago. And it's actually a child-size one. So I carry it around. I got it for like $1.99 at Children's Orchard or something like that. Yeah. And I went out and bought a Thor hammer keychain and put it on the bag. So I have been walking around with spoilers, people finding out that I saw the movie Tuesday and was like, "Don't you tell me anything about this movie. Don't you spoil this crap for me." And I'm like, okay, just walking around with a little Thor hammer hanging from a Captain America backpack. Like,
that was so amazing, though. That was
so amazing. That was like what I needed. And then when they switched, they were like, "Wait, hand me that one."
Yes. Great. The moment that for me that like I think I started like actively pummeling poor Leslie was when the strangest portal opened and you saw Mantis and then Drax and then Quill, and I'm literally like hitting Leslie going, "Peter's coming, Peter's coming, Peter's coming, Peter's coming, there's Peter!"
One thing I would like to point out though, real quick, is that and we'll circle around back to this, but I want it out there before I forget, is that when Captain America went to take the Infinity Stones back to where they belong, he took the hammer with him, but he did not bring it back. So where's the hammer?
You bastards.
What?
Notice that.
Yeah, well, in your little meme article brought up an excellent fucking point about him taking the stones back, because he had to take the Soul Stone back to
Yes.
Who the fuck was that boy man? Like,
yeah,
what? That was a conversation.
He rolled up on Red Skull, and Red Skull's like, what's happening?
Like, dude, I thought we were done.
Can we get Natasha back then, since he took the stone back?
Actually, is there like a loophole in that? Because it just said you have to kill, a soul for soul, right?
And if you return the Soul Stone,
can I just throw like a 12-pack of tacos down there? Like, I love tacos a lot. Can I just be like, or like, I love this watch. Here you go. Close up of like the watch like broken and like
the face shattered. Stop exactly at 9:02 p.m.
Right, but it's like, no, I don't have to kill a person. I could just like maybe he just was like, well, I have this thing. Let me just throw this over there. Or what if it was maybe the picture of Peggy that he carries on him? He threw the picture down there, and then he got the Soul Stone. And then when he went to return the next stone, then he was like, wait a minute, why don't I just stick around here and just stay with Peggy, because I don't have her picture anymore. And now I just broke my own heart.
You make yourself sad.
Because it's an exchange. So if he's bringing it back, you get something back.
Yes. I also think that in the timeline, when Tony gets Hulk smashed and the case opens and Loki grabs the Tesseract, a lot of people are speculating that that's how it sets up the Loki Disney Plus series, is Loki's new timeline.
Oh, okay.
I have a huge crush on Loki too. I just want to admit that here.
No,
I'm concerned.
You're not alone. I don't know why you're upset about that. You're still not alone with
Have you been on Tumblr at all in the last 6 years? Because
that is my problem, is that it's the Tumblr, it's pictures of Loki mixed with like the sexual content, and I'm like, oh.
Y'all, I have never understood the Loki lust. He looks like a greasy weasel to me. It's not my cup of tea.
he is not nice. Like, he will break your heart. Like, he will disappear.
Oh, yeah,
You never
he
see
will.
him again.
Yeah,
And then come back if he needs, like, you know, he got thirsty one day and you were close. For some iced tea.
Use your booty call.
What
I
else
think
you
it's
got?
the teeth.
And then
He
walk
has-
off.
He has really good teeth. They're like aligned very nice and they're bright. I think it's that. I'm gonna go with the teeth.
there are tons of other people with nice teeth. He
I know you're gonna say there's tons of other people with teeth, and I'm like, well, yeah.
he's greasy and he's skinny and like I could break it. I could break
I have to be completely honest. Tall, skinny, and accented is kind of my jam.
it. Okay, that'll.
Well, accented gets further in general for me. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I'm willing to overlook over an accent, which is terrible reasoning. Just terrible reasoning, but
I think it's the teeth and the color green.
Mhm.
is it your favorite color?
No, my favorite color is pink, but it's the green and the teeth because I am attracted to the weirdest things. So I'm gonna go with that.
I'm still here for M'Baku can blow my back out. So that's yeah.
And you are not alone on that one either.
No,
Like,
yeah.
But just this character, like his character from Us, I wanted to fight. So
Yeah, I haven't seen Us yet, and like I was going to, and then somebody told me about that, and I was like, man, I was really excited to see M'Baku, and now you messed it up for me. I'm just gonna stay home.
he was hilarious. Like, okay, now that I have some distance from the movie, he was hilarious. Like, he is basically what would actually happen if every dad, you know, had to fight some stuff. They would hurt themselves within the first 30 seconds of the whole attack, and then just be like, oh. But yeah,
So he was not M'Baku in that movie.
he was definitely not.
Forgot his training.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
slight Black Panther like transition here, but because we haven't talked about it, and I don't know how much you guys know about the comics, but like that whole handling of M'Baku in the movie
Yes.
is fucking brilliant and
Yeah.
just
It's done
completely
so well.
scrubs away
Yeah,
mess
'cause
that is the comics.
the comic is trash. The comic is trash and inherently racist. So
I was gonna say, aren't the comics like
he's an ape
written by
man.
white people?
He's
Yeah.
an ape man in the comic, and
I would say white people in the 40s.
and like I think he's supposed to be dumb. I
Okay.
can't remember.
Well, I mean, he's your typical non-dimensional bad guy of that time. Like,
Yeah.
but it's really it's so problematic, and the fact, because I was really afraid, even with all this, like even making him still a bad guy and trying to fight would have, the fact that they decided not to do that and saying that there are stronger people together
Yeah.
is just plotting that was such a great movement for that
Oh.
character.
Ryan Coogler knew what he was doing.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah.
did.
Oh yeah. So
Mm,
let's see what else.
I know there's like so much more besides the Loki crush and the M'Baku crush, and I mean, I could ship, like, I'm pretty sure I could go down a black hole and find some weird fan fiction featuring like Thanos and Quill. I don't know. It's the internet. I just
The internet is beautiful. Just go sit on AO3 and just
yeah, that's
Yes.
give yourself a few hours. Go down that rabbit hole.
I have an account on AO3. I really need to write that fanfic for Leslie.
You're really such.
Quinzel, there is, and I am somewhat ashamed to admit this, but I'm going to blame it on Tumblr. There is fanfic for a coffee commercial from the early 90s.
What?
Matt?
Okay, so there was this one
Are we
Folgers
talking-
commercial.
Is it the series commercial, the one with Anthony Stewart Head?
No, it's the one with the two siblings. When
Okay,
he,
never mind.
yeah.
What?
No,
This is going.
yeah, it's gone off the rails. I apologize. But I will link you ladies up so you can see.
Wait a minute. Is this the Folgers? She's coming home for Christmas.
Yes, it's that commercial.
I used to love that commercial. It was great.
There's a fanfic on that?
There's some really dirty fanfics about that.
What?
Why?
Because Tumblr likes to set itself on fire. That's why.
I would like that link.
No, I will get it to you as soon as we're done.
All right.
Do they have sex with the coffee?
Moving on.
No, they have sex with each other.
Moving on.
You can just edit this out. It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay.
Anyway, let's talk back. Endgame.
Yes, let's talk about the ending of Endgame. I don't even know how to come back to this.
I didn't know what to
Okay,
do.
I'll
Sorry.
just start. Okay, so I was a little annoyed that Natasha didn't get a grand fucking funeral.
I was
Yeah, Natasha didn't get no funeral.
She got a bench thrown in a lake.
Woo!
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if that bench ever landed. Like, I didn't see it the second time, but I saw that bench like go in the air, and I'm like, I don't hear anything. Did that bench ever come down? They didn't. I could understand, like,
And
from her perspective, like, yeah, she was hurting, she was crying, she was like done. So she was more likely to sacrifice herself. But like, damn, like, we really just don't care about Black Widow like that. Like, we can't show up in a room and wear black and red. Like, we got it.
Yeah, that is.
Because I mean, Tony's sacrifice was big, but none of it would have been possible without Ned's sacrifice.
Right.
If we're all being honest, then the entire movie predicates itself on a rat in San Francisco walking on a keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really, it was that rat.
That was another meme, by the way. It's like, I'm glad Ratatouille showed up and saved everybody.
You sure did. It was like, well, let me just walk across this real quick. And I hate rats.
That was a big ass rat.
I know. I'm like, that rat was huge. If I would have saw it, I would have screamed. I don't know. But that rat was like, well, I saved you, so.
Well, let's go down this rabbit hole, or rat hole, if you wish. I wonder if Doctor Strange saw that when he was looking at this version, and
He had to have.
I was going like, really?
A rat is gonna do all of this? Okay. He's the chosen one, I guess.
Like, this is the one. That's why he was so confused in Infinity War when he was like, one, and it involves a rat. Out of all of these, what did he say? 14,000?
14 million.
14 million. Well, damn, yeah. A rat, really? Okay.
That was another meme. It said the only reason that Endgame made so much money was that Doctor Strange was looking at all the probabilities and saw the movie 14 million times. Oh my god. But yeah, like I have to say my favorite scene of, the huge fight scene at the end was like Spider-Man just laying there and he's like, hi, I'm Peter Parker. She's like, hello, Peter Parker. It's just cute. I don't know. It was adorable.
Tom Holland does such a good job.
Yes, he is about the realest Spider-Man they've ever had. I mean, yes, we enjoyed Tobey Maguire, at least the first couple of movies, and I really enjoyed Andrew Garfield. Like, he was getting there. He was good because Tobey Maguire didn't have that humor and smartassness that I associate with Spider-Man, but Tom Holland has been since day one unapologetically Peter Parker. Yeah, it was a big win.
Okay, two things. One, this Peter Parker, Tom Holland, is the hardest one for me to have a crush on. And that is because I envision him as a high schooler in my head. I know he's like 23.
He looks all of 12 years old.
Yeah,
so.
and I can't
100%.
do it because it's like, you know what, young man, you're doing a great job. That's about as far as I can do.
Yeah.
So that is the hardest crush for me to have.
He's a sweet pea.
He is a Hufflepuff.
Yes.
He really is. Yeah, he really is. He's a great young man. The second thing, I have a question for you guys, and maybe I'm just looking into it too much. So, okay, the battle takes place 5 years later, right?
Is this about him going back to school?
Yes.
Yes, I had the same thought too. Like, why are you going back to the same place you were 5 years ago? And why is your friend there?
Yeah. Or are they? Now, my husband was like, is it college?
It's
but I'm
not
like,
college.
How would he
it's
know
still
that? So it's still high school and the guy's still there?
Yes. Basically the way I understood it, and Kim can probably flesh it out a lot more. When Peter comes out of the portal and he's talking to Tony, he says, I got some dust in my eye and I must have passed out. But then I woke up and Strange was there, but he said it's 5 years later. So to those that got snapped, no time has passed.
That's fine, but did his friend get snapped?
I believe the core of like Ned, Flash, MJ, all got snapped.
Okay.
So they're gonna have classmates who lived the last 5 years who are in completely different points in their life. And then you have this group that essentially has been stagnant for 5 years.
Oh my God, do they have to do high school again?
And we're going to see a lot of that in Far From Home, I
Well,
assume.
it's not really again. They're still
yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's not like a repeat of high school. That sucks, though. I'd be like, it's
But that's
5
the
years later.
only-
Can I go?
that's the only way that makes sense, though. So we'll have to wait and see what Far From Home does.
That's true.
That is interesting.
I loved that at the end, Cap gave the shield not to Bucky, but to Sam.
Yes. Ooh, are racist people mad about that?
Oh, I assume so. If we end with a This Week in Geek, there's a whole kerfuffle about the new Mortal Kombat game that
Oh, Lord.
white people just need to stop.
But why?
Why?
It's not really a shock from the. He's Captain America in the comics right now.
He
He's
is.
I know.
for quite a
Absolutely.
while, and this isn't his first stint.
Right.
So to me, it was like either one would make sense, but I kind of figured they were going to go with Sam anyway, just because he currently is in the comics. They like to align some shit that they can from the films and the comics.
That's why I think that he did the whole Hail Hydra thing for that time period in the comics where he was raised in Hydra.
Yes.
So,
Oh,
And
let's not
I-
talk about that.
Yeah.
I have an issue with the whole Secret Wars and Civil War II. I don't even want to go on that tangent right now, but
we'll be good.
it's a
We'll be
hot
good.
mess.
But it totally made sense for him to not pass it to Bucky, because I'm sorry, Bucky still looked like I have no idea what's going on. I was
I went back to my goats.
right, like I woke up in Africa, and I'm sure he probably said some stuff where T'Challa had to show up in the tent, like, "Hey, okay, so you can't say that. I know you were in the 1920s, but we're trying to help you with your arm, so like."
I
Yeah,
just
and he's
want
like,
some plums. That's all he wants. Give
Not
him
to
some
mention
plums.
his PTSD, but you know what? The best part of that whole thing is that Bucky fully co-signed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was the one person that knew Steve was bullshitting when he was sitting there telling him, "I'll see you in a bit." 'Cause
Yes.
he said goodbye to him, like completely.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
But Bucky knew that he wasn't coming back.
yeah. I mean, I of all the things that they kind of hinted towards, like the America's ass and stuff like that fans have talked about, I almost wanted a hint of like a little bit of a love story of Cap and Bucky.
They weren't going to do that. There is no way on God's green earth. It's the same thing with Supernatural. It ain't going to fly.
So I just got to go to AO3 for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you
Yeah.
can. There's tons there. But, and as much as they were shoving Peggy down our throat throughout this entire movie, no, that would have been a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like constantly reminding us, remember this? This is
Remember that Cap likes girls.
Oh my God. All right. Do we have anything else to discuss?
Why did old Steve look like Joe Biden?
Oh my God.
mixed with Clint Eastwood.
Oh. Old Clint Eastwood looks rough as hell. I'd prefer Joe Biden over Clint Eastwood.
Can we tweet
it
this
was
to
a
Joe
weird-
Biden?
It's a weird mix with his eyes.
I will do it if you give me permission. Like, hey, Joe Biden, explain. It's just a picture of Captain America next to him.
Also,
Joe, why you have the shield?
in this new timeline, is Peggy still alive? Has she died already? Is Cap still with her?
I think
I
she
would
probably
imagine.
has died already, and she probably still had Alzheimer's.
Why would you end the show like this?
I'm sorry. Everything is happy. They lived till they were 90. They died holding hands.
Okay, thank you.
I watched that movie. It was called The Notebook.
Yes.
Nobody would take me for ice cream afterwards because they said thin is being better. But I'm here to tell you it's not. I wanted ice cream. Fuck all y'all. Okay, I'm sorry.
So
I-
I have a couple of things that I want to
Go for it.
Go.
fangirl over, especially because I am a lover of the comics, and Captain America and Captain Marvel have had a very respectful relationship over the years. Like, she looks at him as a massive mentor, and he was so tiny, but when he called her Danvers, like, my heart just lifted in joy. Just heard her Danvers in that way. It was amazing. And two, yeah, she wasn't in the film that much, which, like, when that happened, when all the portals started opening and he looks to Wong, he's like, did we forget anybody? I'm like, you forgot your damn nuke. Where's your nuke at?
And then all the guns pointed up. That was.
And then I knew immediately who was coming. But one of the best parts of the fight scene was when she was fighting Thanos and he fucking headbutted her. And she just gave him a look like,
bitch, who are you?
One of the best things to happen is my 5-year-old absolutely adores Captain Marvel, and she thinks she's amazing. She hasn't seen the movie, she's just seen trailers, but she knows that I went and saw it, and she knows that she's in the new Avengers movie and how excited Bobby was about that. I brought her a stuffed Captain Marvel doll from Comic-Con, and when I got home, I said, guess what? In the new movie, Captain Marvel's hair is just like yours, because my daughter has very short hair. And so today she was trying to find a blue shirt and a blue pair of pants and was tying like a red sash around her waist. And she goes, okay, Mom, you're Black Widow. Dad, you're Captain America. The dog is Goose. And then my husband went to like do something with like his quote unquote shield. And she just gave him the most withering look and goes, you know I'm more powerful than you, right?
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
She's wrong.
And my husband looked at me and that's exactly what I'm like, she's not wrong.
I don't know what to tell you. She's right. When she's right, she's right. Yeah.
right.
So my poor husband got torched by a 5-year-old today.
Ouch.
but for like the best reasons ever. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Where the hell was Fury this whole time?
He was dusted.
No, because he would have been back by the time everybody was portaling in for the battle.
Oh,
Fury don't fight.
doing what Fury is doing. He just makes sure everybody's pieces. He's the chessboard guy.
Yeah, he don't.
Makes sure all the pieces are on the chessboard the way they're supposed to be.
He don't fight. He ain't a knight.
Kind of came back to be like, y'all right? You need some snacks?
I mean, he came back at the end.
He came back on the porch.
Yeah, that's fine. He fine.
Man.
He gave Carol a hug.
Seeing Fury Maria Hill would have been nice, like on a helicarrier coming out of a portal.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Well, my brother, and I know there's mixed feelings about this, and I told my brother, because we were arguing about this, was the fact that there was no nod to Coulson, and I was like, I'm kind of over that shit, because they haven't been bringing Coulson up since how long his ass is
2012.
quote unquote dead to these people. So I'm not shocked they didn't pull Coulson in.
Well, maybe in this new MCU chunk of movies we're getting, maybe Coulson and the team will come back. I don't know.
But that depends on what happens in that series.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least, but you're right. Like, there are still some SHIELD people out there. They could have joined the fight. You got soldiers. They needed men. That's what they needed.
Yeah.
So until Tony did the last hurrah, but I will say all the nods to like the original movies was so poetic throughout it, even down to like the cheeseburger nod. The speech between Bucky and Steve, which was the reversed. They had the reverse roles on that speech. And
The punk speech.
No, the stupid.
Okay.
He says you're gonna take all the stupid with you, and they reversed their lines on that. It was the same speech, but there was a lot of things that I caught. One of the random things that I caught that I kind of enjoyed, and I don't know if you were supposed to pay attention to it, but I'm weird, was in the scene where Black Widow just got done talking with everybody, their holograms, or whatever you want to call it, and Steve comes in, and she's trying to get her shit together because she's thinking about Clint.
Right.
A mess right now. Is while they're talking, they kind of pan out from the room and you see a pair of ballet slippers sitting on the chair.
I heard something about that, but I didn't see it. So does that mean she still practices her ballet after all this time?
I'm thinking she's using it for therapy.
Oh,
yeah.
Which is kind of cool for her character. A lot of people missed the kid at the end, like they didn't know who he was, which I thought was a nice nod too.
Emily knew immediately. I was like, "Who the hell is
Again,
that?"
I was beating on you, going, "It's the kid."
It's like,
It's the kid. It's the kid. And she's going, "What kid?" As I'm like punching her in the shoulder.
You know what? As a writer, that part with Ant-Man and he asked the kid on the bike what happened, and just the way that he looks back and they kind of really hone in and pause on him, I'm like, I feel like there's more significance to that kid, and no one knows what. They're like, no, it was just, I'm like, there's too much foreshadowing here. It's freaking me out.
I think it was the kid's reaction that was the important thing of that scene. He didn't even want to stop and talk about it because it was so fucking horrific what just happened. That dude just asked him what the hell happened, and now he's got to repeat everything that just happened. He can't deal with it. I think that was the significance of that pause, because you saw his eyes start watering up.
Yeah.
Like, he literally could not deal. That's how I kind of took it.
Yeah.
Can we also joke about all the fucking time travel movie jokes?
that was a hot time machine.
That was amazing.
Are you telling me Back to the Future is bullshit? It's just perfect.
So do you guys know that I've met wow, I can't think of his real name. Not Scott Lang. Paul Rudd.
Did you?
I met Paul Rudd randomly years ago in a GameStop. Didn't realize it was him. Yes. I may or may not live around or near-ish the town where he's from. So he makes random appearances. And I was teenager.
You should have asked him if Marky Mark ever really planted that tree.
I did not, man. He was in this GameStop and he was looking at stuff, and I had my little sister with me, and she was running up and down the store causing a ruckus, and he's just smiling, and he's in front of us in line, and my mom was actually chastising me at the same time in the line, like a black mom does. So I was kind of being embarrassed, and then the guy was like, "Oh my God, hey, can I get your picture?" The cashier, and he goes, "Sure." And so he starts to leave, and my aunt goes, "Do you take pictures of all of your customers?" And he goes, "That was Paul Rudd." And she was like, "Who is Paul Rudd? I don't know who he is." And I go, "Oh my God." And I turn, and he goes, "Happy holidays, everybody," because it was around Christmas time, and walks out. And I was like,
my jaw is hanging open.
Yes, I was that close to greatness.
He seems like a genuinely nice person. From everything I've read.
Yeah, I would have never, just his demeanor. The only thing that was out of place was his coat. It was a very, very nice coat. And I just kind of had a moment of like, from here, you all right with this coat?
You're getting mugged.
Like, this is a little too nice.
If he really is a nice person, then that would explain the fact that he hasn't aged in the last 40 years at all. That's like the perfect balance of karma.
Yeah. I don't know how he's not even like, I mean, he looks not a day age over Clueless.
No.
Like, exactly the same.
All right.
Have fun with your stepsister. Is that what we're going to leave on?
I think that's what we're going to leave on. Does anybody have anything else they want to say to people? I'm going to take that as a no.
Go pee right now.
Yes.
And then go pee again.
Yes. Before
we go, what was the perfect time for you guys to go pee? Like, if you were going to go use the restroom, what scene would you have went? Or what scene would have been too late?
I would have said I probably would have gone during Hulk lunch. Would have been my preferred break. And then anytime after they return from the time heist, you need to stay.
Yeah, definitely.
They hit the ground running at that point.
I had thought the point where Ant-Man is looking out of the window and the birds are chirping and he's like, everything's gonna be fine. I think it worked. Yeah, you can't go anywhere. You're done.
How the hell he survived that?
Yeah, what the hell?
He shrank. He shrank himself. As soon as he...
Incinerating a large thing versus a small thing is still incineration. Like,
this is true.
Should have been incinerated.
Yeah.
This is true.
Science.
You know.
All right.
Those particles. Those pin particles, man.
If you want to survive a fire, stop, drop, and,
pin
go
particles?
really small. Yes!
Yeah, pin
No
particles.
quantum.
That's the name of this episode. Stop, drop, and pin particle.
Yep.
That's it. Perfect. All right. So I think that's it for us. I need to go finish my laundry so I can be out to Miami.
Geeky Girls Night In is brought to you by me, Leslie. You can find me on Twitter at Geeky Girls NI, on Facebook at Geeky Girls Night In, or in your backyard, strumming dulcet tones on a mandolin, serenading you sweetly. Feel free to shoot me a message if you have something geeky going on that you want announced on the show. You can find written musings by me, Quinzel, or Melissa at geekygirlguide.com. Like the show? Would you like to buy me a cup of coffee? Consider donating to my coffee. That's ko-fi.com/geekygirlsni. Want to send me or the other girls some snail mail? You can reach us at P.O. Box 90232, Indianapolis, Indiana 46290. Feel free to leave a review on iTunes or on the Facebook page. I'll read new reviews, good or bad, on the show. Music is by Makai Beats. Until next time.